Good morning, everybody, and thank you. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for another visit to my YouTube channel for a chapter one reading of Italian Mafia Saga Book One. This is the second time that I've done this, so I thank you all for your support and your love as I put this book out there, unlike any that you have ever read. And I mean that. You will never, ever find another Italian Mafia author on earth like me. It doesn't make me better. It just means that I am presenting a challenge to all the Italian Mafia authors out there. I'm raising the bar. Now it's time to step up. So, without further ado, by the way, I just want to give a shout out to my advisor on this, Joe Kelly. And if you do not know, go check out Joe Kelly on Battlefield and MMA Boxing. I think that's what it's called. But he teaches class right here in town, and he works with me. That's my bomb ass coworker. So what's up, Joe? I'm just giving you a little shout out. Love, bro. Thank you for all the help and advice to getting this set up. I couldn't have done it without you. So everybody else, my homeboy Gus, my homegirl Savannah, my little brother Wyatt, and everybody at Harry's. One love, peace, and let's get this thing started. Chapter 1. August 14th, 2022. It was a hot, partly sunny 91-degree Sunday in Henderson, Nevada. Anastasia Rochelle and her 16-year-old daughter, Brittany, were on their way to the Boys Ranch Association to pick up the new addition to their quiet and seemingly normal Italian home. The adoption finalized, and now a 16-year-old boy is about to have a brand new home. A thought crossed Britt's mind as the sleek, midnight blue 2022 Mercedes-Benz E-Class sedan turned onto the property of this Foster ranch. How could Britt actually live in peace and solace with a guy in her home? A 16-year-old boy who probably has no proper upbringing or moral principles to guide him. What happened to this life that he ended up in a boys' ranch? Where are his parents? There was an enormous, almost football field-sized fenced-in area of pasture with milk cows and Brahmas scattered around grazing in the field. The trees were full of life, though the fall season was soon to arrive. Don't be so excited to have your very own brother, Britt, Anastasia said, and Britt snapped back to the here and now. What, Mom? Britt asked, looking at her mom and letting out a sheepish snicker. I knew you heard me. Asino Sagio, which means in English, wise ass. Pause. Okay, so real quick, there are going to be Italian translations in here that I'm going to translate in English just so you can follow along. Unpause. Anastasia replied, and her daughter laughed. But how could you not be excited about your very own brother, Brittany? Mom, this kid is so not my brother. I mean, come on, Donovan. Does he even know what his name means? It's Irish and Gaelic origin, and it means dark, Anastasia interrupted. My point exactly. Who names their kid that? And besides, I don't remember you asking me if I wanted a brother. Excuse me? Who says I owe you something? But, Mom, I have a say in this house. Let me tell you something. Hold on. Britt said in a stern tone, and her mom glared at her through eyes of pure mental fire. Let me tell you something, miss. You don't pay bills in that house. I'm doing it. And if you talk to me like that again, you'll need dental work until you're my age after I'm done with you. Now, you will get a brother, and you will get along with him. Do you understand me? Anastasia replied in a raised tone of voice. Britt sighed in defeat and anger, knowing her mother meant business. Yes, ma'am. The Benz smoothly cruised down the road, passing some small single-story buildings both adjacent and across the street from each other. They had to be the housing units for the different age groups here. Britt saw some boys playing with what appeared to be house parents playing on a nice concrete basketball court. She smiled at the scene as the car turned into a parking lot. outside a large main office, then stopped. All right, baby, this is it. Mom, Britt began through clenched teeth. If there is any mercy in you, just back out and leave now. Anastasia laughed and opened the driver's side door. Mercy. Britt cursed under her breath as her mom laughed at the audacity she had to even make such an outrageous statement like that. Then she got out. Come on inside and meet your new brother. Britt followed her mom inside the main office while life seemed to be coming to an abrupt end for her. They both approached a young ginger secretary, wrapping her chewing gum around her left pointer finger as she was in the middle of a phone call. The secretary met the eyes of the black haired woman that now held her gaze and quickly pulled the gum off her finger and ended the call. Hi, I'm sorry about that, the secretary said abruptly. Okay, no problem, Anastasia interrupted. I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying, but how can I help? The secretary replied. I'm here to retrieve my new son, Anastasia said, then nodded to her daughter and her new brother, Donovan. Oh, that's right. Mr. Andrews said that you'd be coming today. Is that your daughter? Or. No, this little whore is my firstborn baby, Brittany, Anastasia said and smiled at her daughter. If I'm a whore, I got it from you, which makes you the whore queen, Brittany replied with a smart-ass smile on her face, staring right into her mother's pure forest green eyes. And never forget that, dear, Anastasia replied with a deceptively polite face for the secretary. She has no idea what they were saying in Italian anyway. Let me tell Mr. Andrews you're here. The secretary replaced the handset, then an office door to their left opened. Anastasia, how are you? Mr. Andrews said with a joyous smile, then took Anastasia's hand in his. Fabulous, Mr. Andrews. Thank you for asking me. Is my son ready to go? Anastasia replied, then let go of his hand. My daughter's so excited about her new brother, aren't you, Britt? I sure am, Mom. I can't wait to take this beefy idiot home and up to my bed, Britt replied, then laughed with her mom over the wise ass comment only they understood. My daughter, she's such an angel, Anastasia said in a deceptive but humorous tone. Donovan's house parents should be escorting him up here now, Mr. Andrews said, then looked to the front office windows. There's your son now. Britt turned around to look out the windows and suddenly lost her breath. Outside the windows of the main office, she saw a bald teenage, but that was no boy. He was slick and shiny bald headed, and he had on a tight black Hanes tank top, nice beach style shorts with cargo pockets on both legs and colored sea fish on them. The sun clearly shone on the cuts and definition lines of those solid shoulders and arms of his. This kid looks like a cut up marble statue from a museum in Rome, Italy. Britt's heart was pounding lustfully in her chest as if it would break through the bone and expose her thoughts before her mom and the other two people. The front door opened and in came Donovan with a full duffel bag of his possessions. The house parent shook hands with Mr. Andrews, traded a couple words, and then headed out the door, leaving them all alone. How are you liking this so far? Just throw a little comment out there, everybody. All right. I hope I'm not boring you. Today's your big day, Donovan, Mr. Andrews said as Donovan stood there holding what seemed to be his only possessions in a nice Fila duffel bag. Come meet your new family. Donovan casually approached both ladies, and the older one put her arms around him with a gleeful hug as his eyes went from hers to Britt's. Hey there, Donny. That's your new sister, Brittany, Anastasia said, then let him go. Donovan took a very small breath's worth of time to check out the scorching hot brunette in a very small and very tight pair of sexy, light, blue jean boy shorts that stopped at the top of her nicely thick and toned thighs. Britt had on a nice, sexy, fitted, short sleeve crop top. It had 4 clip buttons, and 3 of them were open, exposing a nice amount of cleavage and a gorgeous set of flat abs that began where the hem of the shirt stopped. Britt was clearly aware of Donovan's eyes and where they went before they returned to her deep forest green eyes. She gave him a half sarcastic fuck off smile as she shook his hand. Well, I guess we're all set, Donovan. You excited about your new family? You've been waiting for this day for a very long time. I guess. Can we go? Donovan replied, then picked up his bag. Oh, one more thing, Donovan. You're going to be attending Henderson High in 3 days. I don't think your school schedule is going to interfere with your USC training classes and your Wing Chun classes, Mr. Andrews said, then turned to the Rochelios as he patted Donovan lightly on the shoulder. Donovan's been involved in kung fu classes at a dojo in Vegas since 2013, a year after we took him in. And he's been attending USC training classes for the last 9 years at some other gym in Vegas. He's a big boy. Just don't go to the beach or you'll come home a husband. That's fine. He can protect my daughter. The school's 10 minutes from the house, Mr. Andrews. Thank you so much for all your help. Donnie's got a very nice home, and we got his room all set up for him. Anastasia said, then turned to Donovan. Let's go home. Henderson, Nevada, the second largest city, is close to boundless entertainment in just about every direction you look, but also just far enough away. It's a natural jumping off point to Hoover Dam and Lake Mead, as well as its own vibrant art, entertainment, recreation, shopping, and dining scenes. Anastasia Rochelio was deep in her mind about what was really going on right now as she drove through Henderson. She has secrets that her daughter doesn't even know. She glanced at Donovan in the rearview mirror as she drove north on I-11. He looks just like his dad, and she knew it. Anastasia remembered the day that she found out Antonio had been murdered. She was at Henderson Hospital and caught the ABC News breaking report just as she'd returned from her rounds. She remembered how David Muir reported on the assassination as about a dozen or more hospital staff watched in multitudes of feelings, unbeknownst to her. None of them knew Brix Lovato like Anastasia did. None of them knew him at all. The ride to Donovan's new home brought on all sorts of thoughts, some of which he wanted nothing to do with, others he'd be okay with. The traffic was normal and the view rugged and just what the West is, hot, dry, mountainous, and beautiful. He sighed in an almost disapproving manner about this new living situation, then looked casually in Britt's direction, only to catch her glancing secretly at him in her door mirror. She faked a half-interested smile and looked away. Donovan snickered and returned to the view from the back seat of the Benz. The Benz turned off West Warm Springs Road onto Bobby Basin Avenue. There were some really nice two-story homes on this street, and then there it was, 1054 Bobby Basin. The tan Spanish tiles, the stones that dressed the bottom of the entrance canopy pillars directed you to the corridor leading to the front door. The trees and the shrubbery. This was nice, and Donovan knew it. Well, Donnie, welcome to your new home. We're really glad you're here to live with us. Come on, Anastasia said, then got out of her car, followed by her two kids now. The house was definitely expensive looking, to say the least. Donovan thought to himself as he looked around the yard on the way to the front door. A neighbor across the street was glancing in their direction as she got into a nice white 2022 Cadillac Escalade ESV. The three of them entered the home, and it looked like a serious family cave. State-of-the-art everything. Matching furniture. Donovan didn't even have time to run around, lift his leg, and mark a piece of territory before Anastasia came up behind him. He didn't even know Britt wasn't even there anymore. Okay, son, you can see the new pad later. Let me show you to your room, Anastasia said, then led him by the left hand through the kitchen to a door right under the staircase, then opened the door. This is the basement, but it's very cozy and secluded, and it's all yours, Donnie. Donovan followed Anastasia down the stairs and stopped in his tracks at the bottom of the step. Whoa, was his first thought as he looked around. No windows, but that's okay. As Anastasia told him that she took 12 hours out of her week just to fix this room up, he believed her. There was a futuristic-looking Maximus Modern recliner sectional with a deep blue mood light, sofa and love seat with coffee tables and an entertainment table. Very expensive, no doubt about it. In the far left corner, there was a very hot-looking Zuri Marlow leather bed in white. Man, he couldn't wait to doze off in that thing. Directly in front of the bed, mounted to the wall, was a Samsung QN90A 98-inch Class HDR 4K UHD Smart QLED TV, hooked up to a Bose Lifestyle 650 home entertainment system. Surround sound heaven, Donovan thought to himself until he saw everything in the large right corner of his room, which looked bigger than the entire first floor spread, literally. In the corner was a complete body solid D gym multi 4-stack gym. An entire home gym right there. He could work every muscle in his body on that bad boy. There were mirrors on the walls to check himself out as he put in the iron work. In an iFast Power Rec 1,000-pound capacity with 7-foot Olympic bar, 210-pound weight plates, bench cable attachment set. And then mounted to the ceiling above the large black floor pad was a Combat Sports 100-pound Muay Thai punching heavy bag. Anastasia breathed in the glory as her new son looked around at his room for what seemed like ages, though it had only been half a breath's time. She knew Donovan better than anyone, almost anyone other than God and his deceased parents. She shook away the thought as Donovan dropped his bag and approached a full-size Janiqua Wing Chun wooden target training dummy of stained cherry wood. Donnie, you enjoy your new room. Get settled or get some rest. I'm going to start dinner because I have to work tonight, Anastasia said and returned to leave. Miss Rochelieu, Donovan said, and she turned around. Yes, Donnie? Why are you doing this? Anastasia sighed. Loyalty doesn't stop at the grave, Donnie. At least not for me, it doesn't. Get some rest. The door at the top of the stairs closed, and Donovan was left alone with those words. What the hell's going on? Donovan thought to himself. Who does she think she owes? Who cares? This is Donovan's new home, and before he knew it, he was out like a light. The sweet sleep was interrupted by cackling that could be heard from the basement, and the smell of something really good wafted in the air, awakening Donovan's senses to the fact that he is hungry. Donovan stretched and got up to take a shower. It was a huge, glass-enclosed white and gray marble shower. The floors and walls were seriously exotic-looking marble. This was insane. Who is this woman? I can't believe we're talking about this, Mom. What does it matter if I don't have a boyfriend? Britt said in disgust. Because you're 16 years old and you're still young enough to get a boyfriend, Anastasia retorted. Mom, I'm not Christina Bolivar. That's not nice, Brittany. That girl just needs some friends like you in her life. I wish there were more daughters like you in the world that pray about everything, Anastasia said as she went on with preparing the homemade chicken Alfredo stuffed shells and garlic bread. God honors that. You hear me, Britt? God honors that. Donovan walked in, and suddenly there was a silence. Britt looked at him from head to toe. A deep midnight blue Stefano Ricci long sleeve silk shirt that covered that muscle bound torso Britt could not ignore. The metallic glimmer only exacerbated Donovan's bad boy hotness as she lusted over him in her heart. The bristly 5 o'clock shadow was almost too much for her to endure with those smoky gray eyes that were set in stones like in a statue of bronze. The matching silk pants, which Donovan seductively filled, and the white lugs convoy lace-up boots gave him a look that she knew only he could make look that damn good to her. Donnie, Anastasia said, having turned around to find Donovan dressed nicely in one of the many outfits she bought for him. She wasn't sure if she had the right size for all his clothes, but apparently she was right on the money. You look very nice. Did you sleep well? Like a baby, Miss Rochelieu. What smells so good? Donovan replied, and approached a wicker bar chair next to Britt. She gave him a seductive and very approving smile as he sat down. Chicken Alfredo, stuffed shells, and garlic bread. Britt, get us some iced tea, please and thank you, Anastasia said as she fixed two plates. I'm about to leave for work, Donnie. If you go out, do not stay out too late, Anastasia said as Britt returned with two glasses of fresh sweet tea. Thank you, Britt, Donovan said, taking a glass. Whatever, dork, Britt replied, and Donovan sighed. What's the problem? Anastasia asked in a stern tone. I need some new fits for school. I got $28 in my wallet, Donovan replied in a tone of discernible shame. Oh, you want some new clothes for school, do you? Anastasia said as she handed them both a serving of dinner. Get a job. Britt, do the dishes and no parties. Donnie, you protect her. You hear me? If anything happens to my baby, they'll stop looking for Jimmy Hoffa and start looking for you. I love you both. Britt and Donovan watched Miss Rochelle leave and then ate their dinner in silence while Britt texted on her phone. Dinner was good. Dinner is done, and Donovan needed to get some money fast. Hey, Britt. Britt sighed. What nerdo? Can I please use your car? Excuse me? I think you just told me you're a dumbass. Did you really just ask to use my car? Hell no. And it's only got 78 miles on it, and I just washed and waxed it. Britt, please, I need to handle some business, Donovan replied in an evident begging manner. All right, just quit begging. You look pathetic. What kind of business are we talking about in my car? I got to head to Vegas, Donovan said, taking his plate to the sink as Britt remained glued to her phone. Don't stay out too long, and I swear on everything holy, Britt said, then got out of her chair and got so close to Donovan's face he felt her breath on his lips. Fill up the tank. And if you so much as leave one scratch on it, I promise you, you'll die a slow, painful, agonizing death at my hands. Great, thanks, Donovan said and headed out to the garage. Donovan stopped in his tracks as an almost celestial glow emanated around this blood red 2022 Mercedes Benz AMG SL Roadster on some really hot black Lexani 20s. He wasted no time getting into the car and getting on the road to Vegas. Stay tuned for chapter 3 next time. I hope you enjoyed what you've just listened to. Forgive me for the crudity. Again, this is my second video, and I hope you enjoyed it. God bless and have a good evening.